Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel, Tabitha Speaks Politics. And baby, the streets are talking. I am your host, Tabitha. The streets are talking. What are they talking about? Although the right would like to now move past Charlie Kirk's murder, the rest of us are still talking about it. And because the rest of us are still talking about it, there are some there are some things being talked about out there on social media. Okay. First off, I want to say that Mima is talking. Mima is spilling the tea. Tyler Robinson's grandmother, is spilling the tea. Tyler Robinson's grandmother was speaking to the Daily Beast, and she told the Daily Beast that the whole family are Trump supporters. I mean, the rest of us already knew that. We saw, first of all, they're in Utah. Second of all, they are white. Third, they have a Christian background, specifically Mormon. Fourth, they are a gun toting family. That right there told us that they were Trump supporters. Okay, they are MAGA nuts. They are Trump supporters. We already knew that, but Mima came out and pretty much confirmed it. And I'm glad she did, because the right was still over there talking all the nonsense, basically saying that, yeah, the family may be Trump supporters, may be Republicans and Christians, but he was influenced by leftist ideology, influenced by the speech coming from the left. And therefore, he was radicalized and was pushed out there to murder Charlie Kirk. But Mima says no, the whole family is a monolith. The whole family, they are Trump supporters. Now, I haven't read the article, so I don't know if she's giving that information as if she is proud that they are all Trump supporters, or if they are Trump supporters and she is not. But baby, Mima said that the whole family, they are Trump supporters. And being that Mima put that information out there, then this little snippet from the press conference where the governor said that I was praying he wasn't one of us, yeah, that made all the difference in the world. Mima confirmed that the family, they are Trump supporters. And so when I thought back to when the governor said this,
I was praying that if this had to happen here, that it wouldn't be one of us. That somebody drove from another state, somebody came from another country. Sadly, that prayer was not answered the way I hoped for. Just because I thought it would make it easier on us if we could just say, hey, we don't do that here.
when the governor said, I was hoping he wasn't one of us, he meant, in my opinion, white, Christian, male, Republican, Trump supporter. Uh-huh. That's what I took from that statement. And so now that we've got all of this established, the conversations that's taking place out on social media takes this into a different lane. Same highway, different lane on the same highway. Because not only is Tyler Robinson allegedly white, well, we know he's white. Male, well, we know he's male. Mormon, the family is Mormon. Republican, although it is being reported that according to his voter records, he is unaffiliated. He's not tied to either party. But based on his family, we can deduce that he swings in Republican circles, right? So we know all of this. Now, the streets are adding another layer, another element to how Tyler Robinson was radicalized and why he may have murdered Charlie Kirk. That additional element that is now being added on to Tyler's identity is the term groiper. Groiper. I have never heard of the term. For as much as I am in those dirty waters over there in Magaville, I haven't waded into these muddy waters. Groiper. Groiper. Let's talk about it. Now, listen, I am down here. See me down here, the bottom left of your screen. Okay. On the main screen, that is my Threads account, my Threads page. If you follow me out on Threads, then you've been deep diving along with me because I was doing research. Once I heard about the term groiper from Don Lemon, let me play this video clip from Don Lemon so you'll understand how I got led down this path.
I want Peter. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, Peter. This information. Do you want to? Can we talk about this? This whole Groiper thing.
Sure. So
And
nothing
Michael,
has.
you guys, I'm sure Michael and Jolly have some experience with this, but go ahead. Peter's sending me some information because he's doing some online sleuthing and some investigative journalism, so to speak. So, Peter, what are you finding out? And we can put up some of these images if we have them.
We need to be clear that this is a developing story, and we can't speak to this with absolute certainty. But there is an increasing amount of evidence that this individual, the shooter, a suspected shooter in the Kirk case, was perhaps a groiper, was perhaps in some far right forums and chats online. Um, Evidence of this can be found on some of the messages he included on the bullet casings. Don, I think you have those in your notes if you want to discuss those. And there are also has now been surfaced a Halloween costume that he wore a number of years ago, where he was dressed as a groiper, which, for those who aren't familiar, is think of the Pepe the Frog meme. It's sort of a humanized version of a frog that is most commonly associated with, again, far right online white nationalist forums. So all this to say, again, there needs to be more reporting. We need more time to go through all of this, but given the messages inscribed into the bullet casings, given some of these Halloween costumes, given the fact his mother in this one Facebook post literally said that he was dressed up as some strange guy from a meme. And if you look at what a groiper looks like, it's rather clear that's what's going on.
Let's add
So
some.
sorry, Jolly, go ahead.
No, I want to kind of tie into what you're talking about. Let's add some even further context
Hey,
to
hey,
this.
hey, hey, Jolly, one second. I know people get mad. I'm not cutting Jolly off. I'm cutting him off because I need to, and then I want him to explain. But I wanted to jump in because Peter mentioned it about the casings. It says one of them was like, "Hey, fascist," and then catch, right? That's a Graper thing, right? If you read this, you are gay, LMAO. Okay, that seems kind of homophobic to me. That doesn't seem like someone who might be trans. I don't know, or the casings or what they said at trans, anti-fascist trans stuff on it. Notices bulges. OWO. What's this? And then Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Chow, Chow. And that was from that they said what was on the bullet casings. I'm sorry. You have the floor, Jolly. I will not
No,
interrupt.
no, it's good. I want to go back to the Butler, Pennsylvania assassination attempt, and the guy there, who we know was outspoken conservative. Um, he also was found to be, please correct me on this, but I'm pretty sure I'm right here. He was found to be a Nick Fuentes follower who was also believed to be a groyper. And at the time, Nick Fuentes was having a little back and forth with Donald Trump, and the groyper community really rallies behind, the Nick Fuentes style of white nationalism. And then now we're looking at this, and keep in mind, Nick Fuentes and Charlie Kirk have been having a little back and forth over the last week or so. Not saying it's at all related. I'm just saying that the idea that he could be a groyper would seem to make sense with what happened even in Butler, Pennsylvania, and now that this could be a very similar community. But it's just something to think about. Obviously, like Peter said, need to dig deeper into it. I'm just trying to recall from what happened then, what happened now, and how there could be some similarities.
Yeah, and that's what we look. We can do that here on digital because again, we are telling you that it is not confirmed, but this is what is being alleged and reported, and some of the things that are going around social media, just to give you a fuller picture of everything that's going on. So again, grain of salt. This is just for information purposes, not confirmed. But if you look at the images and you check social media, and you have to remember, I have a member of law enforcement here and a veteran. Law enforcement uses social media as evidence in these cases, right? To gather information, to come to conclusions about a suspect's motivation, et cetera, et cetera. Michael, am I right?
Absolutely. And then give you a little bit of context, because I'm sure a lot of your viewers are like, what the hell are they talking about? The Groypers, the Groypers are, in fact, a group or a loosely affiliated group that law enforcement recognizes as a part of the alt-right. They espouse white nationalist and Christian nationalist ideology. And like Jolly brought up, one of the most prominent figures in that organization is Nick Fuentes, who is a espoused white supremacist, white nationalist, and a fascist. There were, give a little bit of history in the United States. There were members who were a part of the insurrection at the Capitol on January 6th. Individuals who were arrested that day, having committed acts of violence, espoused their, affiliation with the Groyper Army. And so this is not just some conspiracy theory, rabbit hole, whatnot. This is an actual loose-knit organization that operates here in the United States. That is affiliated with the alt-right and white supremacist movements in the U.S.
Yep.
Well, and I just want to be very clear about this. Again, this is all information that I'm sure law enforcement is looking at, news organizations are looking at. We saw from the Wall Street Journal his particular political affiliation, which was I think it was a non-registered or whatever, or registered independent somehow. Suspect Tyler has been registered as a nonpartisan voter. That's what the records show. And then if you go further into it, it says he's been registered for a bit, but his parents are both registered Republicans.
This right here is my first post as I traveled down the Groyper rabbit hole. First of all, what does the term Groyper mean? Well, the term Groyper comes from a cartoon toad, a riff on the Pepe the Frog meme, often used in online avatars and internet culture. Now, I have seen that frog, that meme. I actually, hold on, post it. Here it is. That is the meme. I have seen these memes. I have seen accounts who are using this frog as their profile picture. I have seen this. Okay. You all have probably seen it too. Groypers use this imagery and meme tactic to spread their ideology, and their online community arose largely from disillusioned segments of the alt-right movement after events like Charlottesville. Okay, so the Groypers is another section of the right, okay, of the Republican Party. You have main Republicans who have pretty much been pushed out the way, the old time Republicans, right? And they've been replaced with MAGA Republicans, right? Trumpers. And so another section of the Republican Party and the right. So you've got main Republicans, your old time conservative Republicans, right? You have those. And then you have MAGA nuts. You have groypers now. Okay. It's another segment, another section of the alt right movement of the Republican Party. Groypers promote white nationalist, anti Semitic, racist, and homophobic ideologies, attacking mainstream conservatism for being too moderate and for accepting diversity and LGBTQ plus rights. They believe America should be defined by white Christian values and seek to drag mainstream conservative politics further right, often disrupting events by more conventional right wing groups or politicians whom they accuse of betraying true nationalism, white nationalism. Their beliefs center on opposition to immigration, multiculturalism, feminism, and globalism. The movement's rhetoric is rooted in culture war battles over traditional family values and the maintenance of what they perceive as white European American identity. The movement is loosely organized with no formal hierarchy beyond Fuentes and his inner circle. Fuentes, who would that be? That would be Nick Fuentes. Yes, the Groypers is Nick Fuentes' group. Okay. Groypers became notorious for so-called Groyper wars, where they aggressively confronted and disrupted mainstream conservative speakers to push their beliefs into the public political conversation. In summary, Groypers are a loose network of far-right activists using internet culture and extreme rhetoric to push exclusionary and extremist ideology, chiefly under the leadership of Nick Fuentes. Now, Tabitha, what does this have to do with Tyler Robinson? Hold on, I'm getting there. I'm getting to it. Now, as you can imagine, people out there on the internet have found the family of Tyler Robinson, and they've been going through the family and Tyler Robinson's social media pages. Yeah, over on Facebook. And this right here is a post that was made over on, I believe, Tyler's sister's account or on his mother's account. I'm not quite sure which of the two, but allegedly it was placed on one of their accounts. And so the Heather Ashley, I follow her over on Threads, and she posted this on her Threads account. That's how I came across it. And so this Jason Palladino, I don't know. This is over on Twitter. Jason Palladino shared this post from either the sister's account or the mother's account, shared this post right here and added the caption, "Pretty sure this kid was a groyper." This right here is Tyler Robinson. Okay. And the outfit he is wearing is one of the ways that people can tell if they are a groiper or not. So he posted one of the groipers' images with the same outfit. And so this is how folks over on social media are tying Tyler to Nick Fuentes, his group, the Groypers. And so now it's being reported out there on social media. None of this is coming from the police. This is all of the discussions that's taking place on social media. This is how they have tied Tyler Robinson to Nick Fuentes' group, the Groypers. And so from that point, I went on over to Alfred. Alfred is Perplexity, and Perplexity is AI. Many of you who follow me know all of this, but every now and then I get the question, who is Alfred? Alfred is an AI tool named Perplexity. And me and Alfred have a special relationship. Alfred helps me to do all of my research, provides me with sources, provides me with links so that I can do follow-up information. It brings information to my fingertips. Okay? Instead of me going from site to site to site to site, Alfred, when I ask a question, Alfred brings it all to me. And so I asked Alfred, is Tyler Robinson a part of the Groypers? And the answer I got, there are widespread rumors and speculations that Tyler Robinson, the alleged killer of Charlie Kirk, was associated with the Groypers. But so far, this connection is mostly based on social media discussions and preliminary reporting, not definitive evidence from law enforcement or official sources. Then it goes on to say many online posts cite social media activity, meme references, and internet subculture indicators, such as dressing like the Groyper, as potential evidence that Robinson was influenced by or part of the Groyper related communities. 4chan users and other far-right forums have discussed Robinson as either a self-identified Groyper or someone inspired by the movement, pointing to his alleged participation in online trolling and meme-based subcultures linked to the Groyper network. Some outlets reference the Groyper Wars history, noting that followers of Nick Fuentes have targeted Charlie Kirk in the past and see Kirk as a sellout, adding fuel to rumors about a potential ideological motive. That would be Tyler Robinson's motive to kill Charlie Kirk. However, no direct official evidence has yet confirmed Robinson's former membership or direct involvement with the Groypers. Now, when I saw this from Alfred, I was like, okay, well, now that information makes this make sense to me. Watch this.
I went to school with this Tyler Robinson kid. I'll show y'all. That's him right there. Tyler Robinson. I'm not trying to like clout chase, make this shit about me, but I'm not gonna say I knew this kid really well. I didn't know him very well at all, but I definitely saw him for like 3 straight years in high school. And the best way I could describe him is just like a Reddit kid. I don't know, I feel like if you were in high school around that same time, and even probably now, like 2018, and then like, you know, those kinds of kids, but that's exactly what he was. All I'm gonna say is this is the kind of shit that happens when you spend way too much time online and all of a sudden your beliefs are all the way this way or all the way this way, and you do some dramatic shit to please these people that are not your friends. This internet shit is seriously no joke.
So you see, when I first saw this video by his former classmate, I didn't understand why he would mention this online shit, this online culture. Now it makes sense. For him to say that means that there could be some truth to Tyler Robinson getting swept up into this Groyper network, this Groyper movement of Nick Fuentes's. And there is a high probability, in my opinion, based on all of this information, that Tyler could have been influenced and radicalized by Nick Fuentes's movement network, because Nick Fuentes and Charlie Kirk were in a battle. That leads us into the Groyper Wars. The Groyper Wars. I had seen the term in going down the rabbit hole, so I asked Alfred, tell me about the Groyper Wars. Well, the Groyper Wars took place between 2019 and 2020. The term Groyper War specifically describes a campaign in late 2019 when Groypers attended events hosted by Turning Point USA, TPUSA, and other conservative groups. Reminder, y'all, TPUSA, Turning Point USA, that is Charlie Kirk's group. That is Charlie Kirk's movement. That is Charlie Kirk's baby. Okay? And so there was a war going on between Charlie Kirk and Nick Fuentes, aka the Groypers. And what Nick Fuentes and the Groypers were doing, they were following around Charlie Kirk to all of his events to harass Charlie Kirk. Let's go into number 2. Groypers would go to these events and ask provocative and often bigoted questions about immigration, U.S.-Israel relations, and LGBTQ rights to expose conservative leaders like Charlie Kirk as fake conservatives. So you see this battle going on between Charlie Kirk and the Groypers, aka Nick Fuentes. It was a serious thing. And as people are discussing this relationship, these Groyper wars now over on social media, they were talking about how they are talking about how fearful Charlie Kirk was of this Groyper network. And why were they targeting Charlie Kirk? For as racist, homophobic, misogynistic, for all of the misogynoir that Charlie Kirk spewed, the hatred, it wasn't far enough for the Groypers. They wanted people like Charlie Kirk and Donald Trump and Ben Shapiro. They didn't feel that they were racist enough. They didn't feel that they were hateful enough. They wanted them to move further to the right. Moving on, this type of behavior disrupted Charlie Kirk's events, forcing these events to end early and brought significant attention and condemnation from mainstream conservatives and media circles. So if y'all remember, I was sharing a video of Nick Fuentes when he was crashing out on Candace Owens. And I told y'all, Nick Fuentes seemed bitter, right? He hasn't gotten the notoriety that Candace Owens has gotten, right? And I said he seemed bitter. And this makes sense now. I was on the right track with Nick Fuentes feeling that he wasn't getting what he felt he should have gotten for his contribution to the far right movement, the alt right movement, the MAGA movement. He wasn't getting his just rewards, right? And that's because of these things that he was doing to these mainstream conservatives that he felt was getting all of the money, all of the notoriety, all of the attention. They were getting the book deals, they were getting the speaking engagements. He was getting none of that because of his behavior in disrupting their events. Okay. The Groypers also targeted figures such as Ben Shapiro and organizations like Young America's Foundation, who they collectively called Conservative Inc. Now, in my rabbit hole digging, I came across that at one of Charlie Kirk's events, or one of these conservative events, the Groypers showed up, and Ben Shapiro and his family were going into the event. And Nick Fuentes and the Groypers, they confronted Ben Shapiro as he was going into this event. All of this is alleged. This is information that I picked up going down this Groyper rabbit hole. Okay? He confronted them, and I'm guessing it was nothing nice, because Nick Fuentes and the Groypers were condemned for it, and they were shunned for it, which also leads to no speaking engagements, no millions of dollars, no book deals, no more dinners with Donald Trump, no more of your name being associated with those at the top over on the right. Groypers promote white nationalists, anti-LGBTQ, anti-feminist, and Christian nationalist views, often using internet trolling and real-life provocations to push their agenda and recruit disaffected conservatives. They focus on issues like strict immigration control, opposition to multiculturalism, and criticism of what they perceive as moderate or establishment conservatism. The movement uses social media campaigns like event disruptions and online propaganda to gain visibility and influence. In 2024, the movement attempted a Groyper War II, seeking to pressure Donald Trump's campaign to adopt even further right positions, utilizing social media and threatening protests and withholding votes. While the Groypers have struggled to exert large-scale influence on electoral outcomes, their tactics have offered a blueprint for larger online extremist influence campaigns. The Groyper Wars highlight ongoing struggles for ideological direction within U.S. right-wing politics and the persistent threat of far-right extremism exploiting generational divides and online platforms. The relationship between Charlie Kirk and the Groypers is defined by adversarial confrontation, with the Groypers attempting to undermine Kirk's influence within young conservative politics, and Kirk pushing back against their white national agenda. So over there in the far right section of the Republican Party, there's a whole lot of white on white crime happening, gang violence happening. You got Charlie Kirk's gang, and you got Nick Fuentes's gang, and you got Ben Shapiro's gangs, and you got Laura Loomer's gang. Why am I bringing Laura Loomer into this? Because there is this post, this viral post that Laura Loomer put out there on social media just before Charlie Kirk was murdered. And Laura Loomer hurriedly ran to delete that post. It's that post that I talked about in a previous video. It's this post right here. I put it up over on my Threads page, and I captioned it with, "Why did Laura Loomer delete this?" And since going down this Groyper rabbit hole, I think the reason why Laura Loomer deleted this is because of her verbiage used, the things that she said, and her fear that this could have incited Tyler Robinson to do what it is that he did. Let me read it to you, shall we? "I don't ever want to hear at Charlie Kirk 11 claim he is pro-Trump ever again. After this weekend, I'd say he has revealed himself as a political opportunist, and I have had a front row seat to witness the mental gymnastics these last 10 years. Lately, Charlie has decided to behave like a charlatan, claiming to be pro-Trump one day while he stabs Trump in the back the next." Let me tell you what I believe led to this particular sentence right here. Charlie Kirk was a loud voice in calling for the release of the Epstein files. Yep. That's one of the reasons why Laura Loomer was adamantly against Charlie Kirk. She was pissed with Charlie Kirk. One, he didn't go far right enough. And I'm not saying that Laura Loomer is a part of the Groypers, but Laura Loomer is far, far right. She's further right than Donald Trump. Okay, which in my opinion makes her further right than Charlie Kirk, even though we know Charlie Kirk was far right. It wasn't far right enough for Nick Fuentes and the Groypers, and it wasn't far right enough for Laura Loomer. Laura Loomer may not have been a part of the Groypers, but this post could have certainly added to the incitement of Tyler Robinson, allegedly. All of this is my opinion. But moving on with Laura Loomer's deleted post. TPUSA was only able to thrive thanks to the generosity of President Trump. On the 1-year anniversary, of the assassination attempt on Trump's life, Charlie hosted at comic Dave Smith at TPUSA SAS conference, where Dave Smith was able to speak to a bunch of conservative youth at an organization that claims to be pro-Trump. 3 weeks ago, Dave Smith called for President Trump to be impeached and removed from office over his decision to blow up Iran's nuclear facility. Charlie played both sides of the Iran issue on his show, as we all saw, because he wants to play to both sides of the aisle. Let me pause right here. To me, that statement is Laura Loomer's delusion. People on the left, there was no way that Charlie Kirk was going to bring over people from the left unless those people are radicalized by Charlie Kirk's hate and racism, his homophobia. That's the only way. Most people on the left are driven by healthcare for all. They are driven by a livable wage. They are driven by lower gas prices, They are driven by more jobs, equality, justice. That's what they are driven by. They are not driven by racism, hatred, homophobia, transphobia. They're not driven by those things. So for Laura Loomer to say that Charlie Kirk was playing both sides of the aisle, those of us who are of sound mind know that that's Laura Loomer's delusion. But moving on. The honorable thing to do is to have a position and actually defend it to the death instead of flip-flopping. Well, it looks like Charlie Kirk defended his position to the death. Laura Loomer, you're disgusting. That's why you all of the hate put into this post, all of the hate that you have in this post towards Charlie Kirk, this is why you deleted it, because it certainly can be viewed as incitement to a young, weak, radicalized mind. Smith said all of MAGA should turn on Trump and abandon him. He said this 3 weeks ago. See the clip below. So I'm guessing there was a clip attached to her post. TPUSA is definitely not pro-Trump. If they were, they certainly aren't anymore. Now it all makes sense to me why Laura Loomer deleted this post. It was very incendiary towards Charlie Kirk. But somebody got it, Laura Loomer, before you were able to delete it. Listen, thank you for joining me in my journeys down the Groyper rabbit hole. There's gang violence happening over there on the right. They all were loud and bold in calling for civil war against the left. Now that all of this is coming out, Mima telling the world that Tyler Robinson's family, they were all Trump supporters. Those pictures of Tyler Robinson with all of those big pew-pews. Him possibly being a part of the Groyper network. Yeah. Oh, and I came across this little gem over on TikTok where this man dug a little bit and posted this video. This is just for you to file away back here in because when you see it come up in the future, you might be like, oh, I remember that. I remember that coming from Tabitha. Yeah, okay. Check out what this man said.
So Twitter's blowing up now that kid's been exposed. Shit's fucking flying out about his life and his family and everything. His father was a cop, sheriff, I think. Parents were MAGA Republicans. Whole family was religious, conservative. He grew up around weapons. Was trained, his father showed him how to. There's pictures of him dressing up like Trump and stuff. It looks like he might actually be a Groyper, a Nick Fuentes fan. Fuentes fans and Charlie Kirk people don't really like each other. They accuse of Kirk being a sellout. Not right enough. Fake conservative. Wow. Yeah, went and got screenshots. Right on 4chan. For anyone that doesn't know, if you ever see like our guy like that with the what do you call them, slashes or whatever, with a question mark, that's always the alt-right. Anyway.
Yeah, there's definitely more to this story. And you know what? Leftists, liberals, Democrats, progressives, we ain't got nothing. Independents, we ain't got nothing to do with it. This is a war that is happening over on their side. This is why Nancy Mace is now calling for them to pray for Tyler Robinson. Child, I can't. Y'all have a fantastic Saturday. I got some errands to run.